On this Holy Saturday, we remember that this Easter message is not just about Good Friday when Jesus died and Easter Sunday when he rose again, but the fact that Jesus actually lay in the grave dead and cold for the whole of this day. And in that time, it's not unimportant, this gap, this day. Michael Lloyd writes brilliantly about this, better than I could do, so I want to read a little bit of his stuff from Cafe Theology. He says, on Holy Saturday, Jesus was powerless. From the moment of his death to the morning of his resurrection, he identified with humanity at the lowest point of our fallenness. He identified with us in our deadness, in our complete helplessness, in our utter dependence upon God for any future whatsoever. He lay beside us on the mortuary slab. He shared with us in the lifelessness that is otherwise the terminus or the end of our earthly journey. His love did not just bring him to walk with us along the sunny lanes of Galilee, it brought him to lie inert alongside us on the sunless shelf of the grave. And he goes on to say, but now the grave is no longer a place of despair, but a bed of hope. It need no longer be a terminus, but a tunnel. God has made this abyss into a way. Richard Baxter was comforted by the thought that Christ leads me through no darker rooms than he went through before. Jesus identifies with us in the place that all of us are going to go to eventually. He identifies us in the place of many people's greatest fear. He lies in the grave, in darkness, where there are no answers. And think about his disciples in that moment. They thought this guy was the Messiah. They thought he was the one who was going to lead them into this new kingdom, into this new age of peace and love and hope and joy. And now he's dead. He's dead, he's gone. It's finished, the dream is over. There are no answers. On this day, there are no happy endings. That's often the place we live, isn't it? We don't have all the answers. We can't see the future. We can't see what's coming around the corner. But do you know what? God holds us in this place. God holds us there. In the place of darkness, in the place of, I don't know what's happening next. I had these dreams and now they're in pieces. He holds us there. That's where we can bring our grief. That's where we can bring our disappointments. It's where we can bring our fears. Fears of being ill, fears of dying, fears for others who might get ill, who might die, who will die one day. Those that we've already lost. A lot of us are holding on to those people, trying to somehow keep them alive. But actually we can trust Jesus with them. We can trust them to Jesus because he's been there. He's sanctified that way. He's made it holy. So that when our loved ones lie there, Jesus is with them. The place that we will go eventually, Jesus is with them. And that's where he holds us. In that in-between thing where there's no answers to our questions, where it only seems like there's darkness, where it's all foggy and we can't see clearly. Often we live there a lot, don't we? But that's where God holds us. That's where he meets us. And I want to do maybe 2 minutes of silence now, if you're able to get somewhere quiet, where I want you to bring all of that to him in the silence. And if you get more time to be silent today, please try to. And in the silence, that's where God will hold you. And I'm going to invite God to do that now. If you want to close your eyes, feel free to. And in this quiet, bring all of your emotions to God. Your grief, disappointments, and particularly today, For those of you that you know that actually you're trying to keep those people alive and it's burning you up inside, you've not released that grief for others. Maybe it's 20 years ago when someone died and you've never released it to God. You can trust Jesus with that. You can trust them with Jesus. He's good and he's been there. So let's do that now. Just allow God to hold you in this moment. Maybe there's some of you are watching and this is the first time in your life when you felt God hold you. And you can't explain what it is, what the feeling is, but you know that you've been held by God. I'd love to chat to you about that. Maybe something that you've experienced before in the past, but not recently, and you've sensed God with you again. Do get in touch. Do ask us to pray for you. If you want to ask any questions, please get in touch. But today, and as you go to bed tonight, be held by God. Be held by God in the place of no answers. Be held by God. Amen.